Hello and welcome to my Badadal. On this day of Ashtami, when some of us are celebrating this birth of Lord Krishna, I would like to discuss an important lesson Krishna has mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. I believe all lessons and advice one needs for personality development or leadership skills development or just leading a happy and fulfilling life, they're all there in the Bhagavad Gita. So even if you're a non-believer, there is something for you in there, and I would urge you to get into it, get stuck into it, and understand what you can learn from it. And today's verse that we will look at is one of those. You don't have to be a believer to embrace this. I consider myself fortunate to be a believer, and I've started embracing this. So this verse is from chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita. It's verse 47. Karmanyeva dikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karmapala heturpur matho sangistva karmani. So we don't have to go into the word by word meaning of this verse, but let us understand broadly what message it is telling us. So although it's only 2 lines in Sanskrit, each word has incredible amount of meaning and power in them. So the first meaning that we get out of this is do your duty, but do not concern yourself with the results. We have all seen very well how more often than not, things don't really go to our plan. It doesn't happen the way we expect to happen. And we often sit down thinking, why didn't it work out? I did everything that I could, and why still it didn't work out? Why me? And we ask all these questions for which we often don't have answers. And although we might not want to accept that, that is the way of life. We do not have all the answers. So instead of feeling upset and disappointed by not having the ability to control the results, let's in fact accept the fact that the results are beyond our control more often than not. What is within your control though? The one thing that is within your control is the effort that you put in. So what is said in the Gita is, do not worry about the results. Leave the results. Just focus on your effort. What you have to do, you give it your best. And by doing that, by not allowing your head to be preoccupied with the thoughts about what will happen, if it doesn't work out and so on, you are allowing yourself to focus a lot better on the task on hand, and that often leads to the results being in your favor or being desirable. So focus on what is within your control, which is your effort, and do not focus on the result. Now in modern day, we talk about growth mindset, where we need to appreciate the journey and the learning process and give it our best. Essentially that's what this is. The results will follow if you do all this, and to me, what we seem to call a growth mindset now has been written already, and it was there for ages. Now the next message that we get from the sloka or the verse is that the fruits of your action are not for you to enjoy. Now it feels like, how unfair is that? You know, when you say that you put in the efforts and what you get out of it is not for you to enjoy, it does seem quite unfair at the face of it. However, if you're a believer, you can see the fruits as belonging to the Lord. So you're doing your duty and the fruits benefit the Lord. But if you're a non-believer, there are still some interpretations for you, and they can be extremely helpful. So one way of looking at the same message is that we should not think that we are always the beneficiaries of our own action or deeds. Instead of thinking about what is in it for us all the time, and what is in there for my family, what is in there for my next generation, and can I accumulate wealth for my next generation by doing this action today? And it's all about us, me, my family, instead of the wider world. So this thought of not thinking that you are attached or the fruits of the labor is not yours to enjoy detaches us from the result in a way, and it prompts us to think of what greater benefit can I do to the society. And again, in modern day, they talk about servant leadership. In my view, servant leadership is a very old concept because Lord Krishna himself demonstrated servant leadership, where he served as the charioteer for Arjuna, because Arjuna was his greatest devotee and he served for his devotee. The concept of servant leadership is that the leader should be a servant of the people that he serves. So basically, he should be willing to serve the people, and it's not bossing around the people, it is serving the people, and that must be the core role of the leader. Now, to me, if you do not have attachments to your results or the end results of your actions, then you start thinking about, okay, I'm not going to benefit, but let me at least work on someone else benefiting. Whether it comes to planting trees for the world to be a better place for our next generation, or helping the current, the children that are growing up now so that the society is a better place later. These are some of the thinking that we can come up with when we start looking around and not put the focus just on us and our own needs. So the next lesson we can learn from this is that as a doer, or the person that is carrying out the action, we should not be proud of our doing. Pride and ego often bring destruction. Instead, detach oneself. Don't keep saying that I did it, I did it. We already saw that you can put in the effort, but the result is not really within your control or influence more often than not. So do your duty to the best of your ability. Lastly, it can all be quite hard, and no one ever said it is going to be easy. But that does not mean that we can allow inaction. That is, we cannot stop doing our duty just because we find it hard, or it is getting difficult, or it is getting more and more challenging. That is not an option. Lack of action or inaction is not an option. So we need to keep going. We need to keep doing. We need to do our bit constantly and allow things to flow. I hope we can pick at least a handful of such messages from the Gita and be a better you. See you in another video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Do subscribe to our channel. Thank you.